on this stage we go from international superstar to international superstar. And the next one is the kind of superstar that also people recognize and know who it is, especially if you come from where hits are made in the world. So please roll the intro.
I had this crazy dream of coming up with the ultimate musical brand. Stars that don't age, always show up on time, and sing whatever you want. A spectacle that would encompass all medias, such as books sold with the music, casting shows on TV, leading up to creating the show I never saw on stage. Combining the storytelling of Broadway, the lavishness of Las Vegas, and the hit songs of my world.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Andreas Karlsson. Very welcome. Have a seat.
Big enough.
Please have
Thank
a seat.
you.
Fantastic to have you here.
Thank you.
And
it's great to be here. I usually have silver shoes, but
you do?
Yeah.
Where do you think I saw it? No, but it's fantastic. We've had 2 incredible days where I think that you summarize a lot of the thoughts that have been discussed here. That this is the age of the creators, that you know, really good talent can travel anywhere in the world, and that entrepreneurship is a bug. So you just have to start something new. It doesn't matter how many hit songs you do, you still have a dream. You want to create a new product or a project. So what I would like to start out with, so the music industry, what are some of the changes you've seen?
well, first of all, I have to say I'm super thrilled to be here because it's a nice indicator that something great is happening in the world with music. You know, the changes, the new paradigm really hit the music industry like 14 years ago. And we've been spending some time to figure this one out. But I think we're dealing, you know, with a world of free still. I think the world of free is actually interesting because the music has shifted hands from being a music industry that everybody knows and is now a marketing tool in the world of corporate. And if you're a smart creator, the opportunities today are endless. But I think it's sort of a healthy change.
But there's a power shift as well, because before it was mighty corporations saying yes, no, not unlike the venture capitalists in our industry. And now there's a power shift to people that can actually prove that their talent is interesting or that have a commercial mind alongside their sort of musical talent.
Yeah, I was thinking about this. We're actually living in the first democracy ever, which is the world of online. And to generate traffic and to be seen, you need the creator. So music has become more, like I said, of a marketeer for other products. And I think this also is very beneficial for the great songwriter who could come up with a fantastic song for Volvo or you name the brand. So it's
Because
an
a lot of
interesting.
brands want have some, they want to have some of that magical emotional touch that only music can give.
Totally, and it has to do with the way we consume things. You know, marketing has changed drastically, and now we're into being entertained. You know, sometimes when I come back to Sweden, Hertz car rental are waiting for me, and I'm like, what do you want me to do? Be a poster boy, or come up with some music? No, we just want to pick your head. You know, what do you think about our cars? What about a podcast? What type of music, what type of programming should we include in our cars for people to be interested in Hertz car rental? I think it's, I've never experienced that before. It's a completely new way of consuming.
But it's also a very new way of producing, because initially you need to practice 20 years and then sit in Vienna in some sort of hall and 50 people could hear you at the most. Then recording came, and then now with the tools, anybody can try to be a producer, a musician. And don't you get a lot of, first of all, don't you get a lot of shit music and sort of clutter that is annoying for somebody who's really good? And secondly, don't you get a lot of guys that are really good that's even more annoying because competition can come from anywhere?
Well, first of all, I'm somebody who think art should be the name of a guy. Because it's always what you read into it. You know, if you think it's shit, maybe somebody else likes it. But I like the fact that you have to spend a lot of time into your craft. But I believe that the cream rises to the top. So if you're really talented and you have a way of getting out there, you're writing fantastic music, the world will eventually hear you. And it's not going to create the same icons as we grew up with. They're not going to be a Prince or a Michael Jackson. There's going to be other types of icons 10 years from now, I think, that are not so supported by the old marketing dollar. There's going to be more of, virtual worlds, artists that comes without, royalties, and, like I said, that always show up on time. So I think we're approaching a completely different world of music, and it's already happening.
But in my view, you're, you're obviously a fantastic songmaker, but you're also a serial entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur in TV, you're an entrepreneur in Dandy, which is your next big project.
Well, I'm a curious guy, and if I create, I would like to see a business model that can support what I create, because it's a wonderful idea to sit down and write a song, but, I don't want to tap on my shoulder, you did good. I want millions of people to enjoy it. And it's interesting now how you really, on the marketing side of things, you're a click away from the world at all times. And I think that's a tremendous opening for a creator that have a little bit of a business mind and an entrepreneurial mind.
And how important is social media for you and for the music industry, for the creator in the music industry?
Well, the word of mouth has always been one of the strongest tools when it comes to marketing, and I think more than ever, if a song is great, if people recommend it to their friends and then it goes to, other countries or whatever, it's such a strong force. So whatever corporate you are, if you're in, the music industry and you're Universal Music, whatever, you need social media. I mean, you need that as a marketing tool. So every company is now looking at traffic, what do we have here? 30 million views, and how do we transform those 30 million views to concert goers or merchandise? And I don't think music by itself is that interesting anymore. We've been spoiled for years with TV shows that I used to do, like X Factor and Idol, where there is a narrator, wonderful audience, people cry, people, smile. it's a different concept. It's multifaceted and multidimensional. And that's why it's so suitable for the world of corporate that would love to meet the songwriters and the creators of my world, and there would be, you know, interesting alliances that we haven't seen before. We see it, like, we're starting to see it, you know, Swedish House Mafia and Volvo and...
But that's more sort of, that's more a sponsorship rather than co-creation. Dandy is something completely different than just a piece of music or just a musical. Could you share your sort of...
I agree on that. I think there are two types of people in the world. There are the dreamers, and I'm a dreamer. I can dream up all crazy things. And then there are the realists, you know, that makes things happen. But I think the combination of a creator that understands IP rights, copyrights, music and all of that, and then can, you know, put that in a company and hand it over to yourself, and you could use it as a tool for your products. So I think that's the way the alliances will be in the future. Dandy is a wonderful project. I'm sure somebody here, some of you guys have heard about it. It is what you've been talking about. It's a virtual world where everybody can be dandy at all times. And of course, everything needs to be global. And I also like to challenge the difficulties with free, because I believe once the milk is spilled, you can't put it back in the bottle. So just click away. You know, come on, be part of the family. And the winner will go to Vegas and have his or her time of their lives.
And when you create, is it the same process if it's something like Dandy, which is a concept, or is it a song? Do you drink from the same creative well, so to speak, or is it completely different?
Well, you know, since I started hanging out with people like yourself, you know, a song is just not enough.
And I want to do what you're doing.
I can't hang out with Ola and just write songs.
I have this, when I'm sort of doing too many entrepreneurial things, I have this dream of myself in a studio just making wonderful music.
Okay, we'll switch for a day. I love writing music. It's a tremendous, you know, passion and joy for me. But knowing that I can involve the whole world and help McDonald's or Google or another company to, you know, drive customers or, you know, to their business, I think that's wonderful. That's how music should be in the future.
And do you think that, rather, when did you understand that you had the Midas touch?
Well, I haven't understood it yet. I think I have a good sense when it comes to knowing what the masses want. I'm not really that far ahead of the curve, but sometimes it just takes, you know, like, that your mind works in a bit of a different way. And I think that comes from challenging yourself. You know, for me, it was not enough to just be this way. And as people, you know, most of the time something needs to collapse before we can start over. And in this new paradigm shift, the music industry has seen that more than anything else. You know, we need to hit rock bottom so we can start something new. So, you know, it's nice of you to say Midas touch. I've been working very hard.
Yeah, there's also a recurring theme here that a lot of the lucky guys have been working very, very hard. Could you share somewhat sort of, what is one of your favorite music moments of all times? What is some of this like, wow, this is it. This is Nirvana.
Wow. Well, you get spoiled, you know, throughout life. But I remember first time I was getting a car at the airport, and, you know, I heard one of my songs on American radio, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. I thought, you know, I recognize this song, and then finally I understood it was mine, and then I switched to another station, and it was my song as well, and then another station, it was my song. So, and I remember I had no money. I lived in a small little apartment up on Södermalm, and I was up at 5:30 in the morning, and I remember how I wrote those songs, what I was thinking about, and you know, then to see the world singing along to it, it's a wonderful feeling.
I'll share my favorite music moment, and for that I think I need a clicker. I had a clicker somewhere, and then it left. Do we have a clicker? Thank you. Neo. Okay. So then we don't show the moment. I can just share it in so many seconds. I was sailing last New Year's, and I had no clue about West Indies. I was there for the first time. Actually working with a brand, so Kahlua, West Indian spirit. And we came to an island called St. Bartholomew. I knew very little about St. Bartholomew. When Swedes conquer the world, they take the smallest island they can find, and make a colony out of it. It's not China or something else. And there, next to our little boat was Abramovich's boat and all the largest boats in the world, because for New Year's, for some reason, St. Bart's is where everybody goes. And that's the most expensive place in the world. So we could obviously not get a table for New Year's, but there was one cancellation. 19,000 euros for 4 people, but then you couldn't go down to the beach, which was 20 meters from the table. Then it was 26,000 euros. So I went back to the boat, and I wrote on Facebook, not so much fun here, newbies in St. Bart's, anybody save us. And from that Facebook post, somebody at Absolute Vodka that I've been doing some work with, they said, "What, our artist Neo, he's singing there. Maybe we can hook you up." His manager calls up a little bit later and says, or no, he texts me and says, "Well, you can come afterwards when the party's over. Come." And fantastic, we can go to the party. And I wrote something nice on Facebook, and he saw that and was moved by it. So he said, "Couldn't me and Neo invite you and your wife for dinner?" And it was at the same restaurant. So we were sitting at the 26,000 euro table, having New Year's dinner with Neo and this other guy. And we had a great time, and the concert was perfect, and then we started dancing afterwards, and he was showing me his dance moves. And then he said, "This is fantastic. Come to my friend's boat. We got to go there." And this was last New Year, and it was P. Diddy. So now we're at P. Diddy's boat, me and Neo. And this happened through one post on Facebook, and then just giving somebody cred on Facebook. Seconds later, Neo says to P. Diddy, "This guy can do my moves. He's a great dancer."
And now we want to see it.
And Diddy stops and he says, "Really? We got ourselves a dancers here. Shut down. What kind of song do you want to have?" And I'm like, no. But he was just joking. No. So he turns up the volume, and all the guys, all his dancers are there too, and said, "Dance." I said, "No, I really don't want. You're my guest on my boat. You don't even want to dance." I said, "Okay, think about it. Would you have danced or not? I'm not a great dancer." Optimism once again. I danced. Shouldn't have done that. He said, "Whoa, keep on practicing," and then and then he left. So social media can get you into trouble.
But you were invited
And
to
there
it.
it actually is. And what I wanted to show, the funny thing with this is, if we go a little bit backwards, is that nothing of this was something I took photos of. This was just things that I found on the web afterwards. So the whole experience was web-driven, apart from being at the boat and drinking the booze. And this is kind of how I ended 2012 and started 2013, all based on a post.
I need to hang with you more often.
I think that you're hanging
My
like
New
this
Year's
all the
wasn't
time.
that great.
I think that you're doing these things all the time.
Well, not St. Bart's, not Neo, not P. Diddy. Only you can pull that off.
What's the next big thing? Dandy?
Yeah,
what are you gonna do?
wrapping up Dandy, we're looking at a fantastic new venue that's opening next year. I started a wonderful school, and you should all check it out. It's called ambsweden.com, Academy of Music and Business. And it's a school where I teach creative people how to be entrepreneurs, how to understand the endless possibilities in brand building, marketing, alliances with the world of corporate. And they're 15 years old, and they're just jumping into it. So we're building 80 student homes. We're building an auditorium for 500 people, 12 studios, and it's down in Småland, which is the south of Sweden. So that's very
Which
inspiring.
is not a bad place. IKEA comes from there.
Yeah.
My wife comes from there.
A lot of entrepreneurs, and then I manage a very cool band called Dirty Loops. You should go to YouTube and check them out. They're going to be released globally on Universal. So I got a lot of work to do.
Last thing, what drives your passion?
I love to see ideas become a reality. I mean, that's my elixir. Just if it's a song that was written on a guitar and then to hear it, if it's this crazy idea of putting a school for 110 million Swedish kroners, not dollars or euros, but still, you know, and see that 2 years later, you know, you meet the students, they have the varsity on and all of that kind of stuff. So, you know, I'm a big dreamer, and I love seeing things turn into reality. And next year, you'll sit with me in Vegas and see Dandy. It's going to be wonderful.
That's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
And we're going to see another thing turn into reality, something that was just